God will help your enemies create an evil plan against you. Listen to understand why. Evil people like Machiavelli, he represents our Italian princes born in 1469. He represented all evil and unholy. He was super self conscious and he only seeks self desires and power. He was called the father of the modern and worldly view. He kept a path in all evil, and he stated that he believed that everyone should live to want to be a part of the political system, have some type of politician power, and that in the lifetime you should achieve to do so by any results necessary. His sister was even poisoning those that were run up against or those that were her enemies or friends that would just poison people. He believes that those that have the most power and money over you know what true justice is. That was the normal order for Machiavelli back in his time. And mind you, this man became a prince. He was cold. He was dark. He believed in get them before they get you first. You stumble upon this type of power, and it's mind boggling that even those that don't have much of that power can still give you the terror and the torture of what that type of belief comes with. I'm speaking about our enemies. I'm speaking about those that have this they chose to deceive you. They chose to betray you. They chose in their minds to do evil unto you. You have to ask yourself why. Because if you loved or had a plan with this individual, then that means that not only have they chose to hurt you and you take on that point of view, but they've also wasted time, money, and a plan that we once had. So whatever we thought worked did not work. They believe that my selfish desires will work no matter what, no matter the expense. All right. Could it be that your belief system doesn't allow you to really believe in evil and in holiness? Machiavelli also believed that the medical physical wasn't a real is not a real destination, which means you're not going to actually be judged by God in the metaphysical sense, that no one's going to be judged for his wrong for doing so. He did not believe in God. Imagine what that man went through. No moral order. He believed that the people that follow him should do what he says or be subjected to it. So either die by what I say or live by what I say. He stated that man didn't have a conventional reality, that it's only the will of men, and that there's no rules in politics. We all know that's true. Politics can be brutal, ruthless. Your hands is not going to stay clean in politics. And he understood, he chose to poison, beat, kill. Imagine people, and he believed that money was power, and the more of it, that's who say you believe. Could it be in these times that we're subjected to the same things, that if you are not one of great wealth, then you're subjected to the evilness of the world. You're more vulnerable to be in unsafe situations, to be in unstable conditions, unstable environments. Know that in our world commonly today, we go against these powers differently. These powers they don't have to be so vulgar and evil as of any longer. It comes at job loss, inflation, poison, food, medicine, education. Identity. You yourself, you think you're just a serial number. You yourself, you eat of the food that is being given to you in fast food, these lines. You yourself, you're subjected to inflation. You know why? Because you're a low income individual. And if we can get the low income individual to spend double the amounts, if we can get you to spend double in main resources, and we can also make sure that your world is not conditioned to live in, when you fall, you'll be poor, homeless. What is the next step to being homeless? Death. We have to be real. The reason why we're hood shifters, we're shake shifters, we're capital builders is because we understand the plot and the evil that comes with poverty. And for inflation only, it doesn't, it puts more gasoline in the fire, you ask me, because they're targeting low income individuals that don't have the sustained amount that's necessary to provide themselves for long term, for shelter. Understand that our money is supposed to make money, where our money is needing to be a resources that we no longer have to work for. That is, money is supposed to make money, passive income. We're supposed to be thinking of people of wealth. We understand why we're needing to be people of wealth, because who do you know how horrifying it feels to be homelessness, to be subject to diseases that will come, to not have free will, to not be able to make a choice because you lack income. So because of, you have to ask yourself, God, why does evil exist, and why do you allow evil people to conquer it? Why was he a prince in those times? And I wonder, and were the people unworthy, and like, how did they feel? Did they have a voice? Well, you ask God these questions, and then you visit Isaiah 45 chapter verses 7. So Isaiah chapter 45 verse 7. I form the light and I create darkness. I make peace and I create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Drop down, ye heavens, from above. Let the sky pour down righteousness. Let the earth open up, and let them bring forth the salvation. Let the righteousness spring up together, and I, the Lord, have created it. When the fall of humanity came, when we ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Machiavelli believed that he was in a good cause, but he also knew the knowledge of evil. For to be a politician, you can't be dumb. You have to know, you have to understand, and not allow the individual to know that they're stuck in a societal mindset, and that the mindset that they're operating in won't allow them life that's necessary for their strength and their being. So, and it's also evil. To kill, to murder, to lie is evil. And so it's sin. This is what happened. When you mix the knowledge of good and evil, not only do you create injustice in all systems and societies, it's a lack of response in one's mind to correlate what is actually being upon them, what is actually being subjected to them. Those that don't understand the extraterrestrial and the spiritual sense of life in itself, which means you understand death, you understand that you're needing to die. But what was the mere existence between you and death? That, and also at the hand of evilness is all around us, especially ones of those that do good. For the evil need an advantage factor to win from. I'm sorry, I'm not really sorry. So we'll continue going. So sin, because of this, we have to deal with consequences. which is sin equals suffering, death, and a broken relationship with God. We rebel. So going against God is going against everything. When you go against everything, you're left with nothing. So people that don't understand this will waste their lives scrapping for little, scrapping for less than what they deserve. And God wants you to understand that this was all created under the ordinance of his domain, of his speaking, of his words. And that even in the reflection of the sentence that we witnessed, he stated that you open up the doors of heaven and pour out ye all righteousness, and ye will be there. If he creates evil, he also creates good. So why is it that you're allowing that victim mentality to just be, oh, me, evil people against me, evil people are banished to win? Yes, they win, but guess what? You can also win too. Let's take a look at where your salvation, because that's the important. I want you to know everyone has salvation. Your enemy will not win, but you have to have the plan. The difference between you and Machiavelli is that Machiavelli had a plan. No matter what, that man was going to be a power, no matter what, through actions, no matter what, be, do, have, no matter what, through action of his plan. Now, it's unfortunate that the soul of the man was so corrupted that he didn't get to example his power in a way where it can move a nation, move, empower those around him. It scared them and it killed them. Imagine the people that died without discovering who they are because they were up against evil. Okay? So the redemption and the purpose, the reason why Christ came because he needed to rival against evil. And he had to do it through displaying his glory. Which provided an opportunity for us to live again. To stay true to God's word, when Jesus came, Jesus went into he did go into meditation. So he started off with meditation, which means he had to go into one with himself on plan. Then he started to illustrate what God was doing in him. He understood what the plan was way before the cross. Illustrate the one-on-one. Illustrating, gathering others, healing, helping confuse. The enemies, smarter than, did not fall to the selfish desires they had for him as gifts, conquered minds, at the end, death. Understand that death is what we all have to face, for Christ died for us. But Christ died so that we can have a second chance and opportunity back to him. We're living in the dispensation of grace. We're living in the times where we can represent God against silent evils. Understand that the power that you don't believe still rose, that Machiavelli had in his hand. If you don't believe that still rose the land, you're mistaken. You're mistaken. So it's single most important that, and with these philosophers and what they're wanting us to gather, is that if people can have the minds of evil, what about those that can have the mind of righteousness? So what does the Lord, so Christ died, and when he died, he left his holy entity inside of us. When you decide to live by the word and understand that this is a mere ritual of his existence, then you will have the right to say what Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 7 states. The Lord shall cause thy enemies to rise up against me, and smiting me to thy face. He will let your enemies hit you in the face. But thou shalt come out against thy enemies, thy one away, and flee them in 7 ways. Enemies are only after power, greed, and money. All hearts are after helping, saving, creating a mold in a different heart so others can live again, so others can breathe again. And we join God against that battle of the spiritual warfare that we all face. Imagine what he'll do and show through you when we start to live in connection to our good spirit, our heavenly spirit. The consequences that we suffer in sin is not ones that should be of not ones one should endure. God is real. He lives inside of you. There's videos I have explaining that a holy entity is inside of you. That we have to create a camp to where he can host in us and illustrate what he shown Moses on the mountain and illustrate what he did what on the cross and what occurred. Because we live in, you have to get comfortable with death. You have to get comfortable with understanding that there is still beings that you do not see of the eye that still walk the face of the world, and that your mere existence can be one of those of a good cause or an evil cause. And if you wait around and do nothing, you might as well parade with the evil. This is in the deep with Nate. Thank you. So, just as Christ has walked darkness, so will you. You are the owner of darknesses and all terrors. You have to build a different mind, and a mind that can alter reality without speaking. For control is in silence. Control is deeper than money and power. It's a deeper sense. Thank you. There's something that you have possessed on the inside that I want you to bring forth. Thank you.